All right, guys, welcome to the next part in our video series where we're going to be replacing the headlight switch with a LED version. So here is the headlight switch. We want to take that out. We've got our other headlight switch already prepped. Now remember, this is the one I told you about, guys, that has 4 of these osmium LEDs. These ribbon cables are super sensitive, so we're gonna have to be very careful when we plug this in and when we set it up. But let's get to it. So the first thing you have to know is, the first thing we have to do is take this shield off. So I've got a 7mm socket here. There's 2 screws, there's one here and one here. So let's get those off. One. Here's number 2. Now while I'm pulling this off, just be careful when you pull this shield off. The plastic actually goes in behind your kick panel here. So when we pull this out, there's a tab here, there's a tab here, and a tab here. We're gonna just pull those loose. And then see, look, if you look in this corner, it's actually caught. You want to sort of bend it and turn it out. That lets it slide out. All right, so now that we've got that out, we need to take this out. Well, straightforward, there's one 7mm screw here. Now this is a pretty good video to start if you ever need to replace your headlight switch. Essentially what you want to do is grab from the bottom here, put your thumb here and just pull, and it will pop out. Now there's 2 plugs here. You just want to unplug those, obviously. Your computer is going to go a little crazy because it's going to start to think that the headlights are on. So you'll probably hear that. Before that starts, in order to get this out, there are 3 tabs you need to press on. One here, one back here, it's kind of inside here, and one down here. So I'm gonna press those 3 and then push, and look, your headlight switch slides out of the housing. So we're gonna set that aside. Now at this point, we're ready to plug in our harness. We're ready to, start putting things together. So the first thing I wanna do is, with my headlight switch, I'm gonna feed my RGB cable through here. Okay, feed that all the way in. And then I'm gonna snap this into place so that I know my headlight switch is all set and I don't need to move this around or make any movements to it until I have it fully installed. There are tabs on here that will allow you to sort of line it up the correct way. So just keep that in mind as you work on pushing this through. I have it upside down, that's why it's not working. Okay, so now everything will line up. And just have to give it a little extra strength, and there we go. Now we see it's in. So I'm gonna set that down here. Now, the thing about this is there is a lot of space back here. It's beautiful. I'm going to try to move you guys up here. The camera might go sideways. Look at all that space back there. That's great for us because it's going to allow us to put our converter box back there, right? Our converter box we've made in the past. So let's do that. Now, before we feed that through, let's work on the RGB harness, right? The interconnect harness. Now the beautiful thing is, right back here is where your harness connects for your RGB LED for the footwell. So you'll reach back here, you'll feel it. It's a gray harness, gray plugs rather. And there it is. So we can just plug our RGB harness right in there. Now, if you notice, that's why I made this one really short, right? The other end is really long, but this is really short because it just needs to feed in between those. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna feed this up through the hole. We'll get under here and we'll reach over, we'll grab it, give it a helping hand, pull it through. And then I'm just gonna plug it in one side. The other side is still up here. Plug this in. And what we should see is my RGB color is now on because I've reconnected that connector. And I'm just gonna feed this wire into that cavity because that's where it's gonna stay. Now, I'm gonna loop this a couple times and I'm probably just gonna loop it around like this because I don't want this wire to go, you know, traveling and falling where I'm driving. I mean, I think I made this a little bit too long. I'll probably come back with zip ties, but that's the first one. So we're gonna plug in that 3 color into our box. Okay, the next one, this is our interconnect cable to steal our power. Okay, that connector is right in there. That's the big one that connects to the headlight. Okay, so angle you up. So we're gonna take that, and if you use the same connectors, it plugs right in. So now we can feed that in. We can plug that into this end of the box. Okay, and now we're gonna just easy slide that in. Okay, so it's just sitting here. Now make sure you don't push this other black cable down because you need that. Now here's the last one, right? Our actual headlight switch. We're gonna plug our LEDs into the box. Once that's plugged in, the box can go in. We don't need to hold the box out here anymore. You can tuck that all the way back in there. We're gonna feed the cable in. Carefully, carefully, carefully bring this up. And we're gonna take this. We have our interconnect cable. We're gonna plug that into the back of the headlight switch. Now, that sound turning off indicates to me that one of two things happened. I properly wired up my interconnect cable, or my battery died. I know it's not my battery. So then we plug that in, and then we push this in, and guys, could not have been easier. That's now in, and I'm going to do my best. It's really, really bright out, but I'm gonna see if I can find a way to cover up the sensor. Let me see if I put my key in and I cover up the daylight sensor to trigger the colors, okay? And here we go. I'm gonna do my best to try to get you guys to be able to see this. Now I have it set to ice blue and you can't really see it unless I come over here and look at that ice blue. I'm gonna go into my settings. I'm gonna go into MyColor Ambient Light. Let's change that ambient light to red. And again, you can sort of see red. Amazing. Pop that out. Now remember, we didn't take off that LED because I didn't want to change that. Let's come over here to ambient color. Let's go with blue. There, we've got our blue, ambient color, green, we've got our green. So now we have our green up here, we have our traction control, and again, you guys didn't get to see it because I didn't do it just yet, but we have the switch, we have the window switch. So the next video I'm gonna do is the passenger side. I'm gonna take that out. I'll show you guys. It's just as simple as this. It really, really is just about dismantling the door panel and getting the pieces in there. But that's it, guys. I will... Oh, well, I didn't put this back together, but that's straightforward, guys. It's just 2 screws put back on, and, well, you'll get that. Catch you in the next one.